What happens when political disagreement no longer ends in debate but in gunfire? A gunman breaches security at one of Washington's most high profile political gatherings, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where the US President and top officials are present. Shots are fired, panic spreads, and suddenly a big question emerges. Is this just another isolated attack or evidence of deeper culture of political violence in America? Today, we decode the Hindu editorial culture of violence, and behind this one incident, we uncover a much bigger issue: gun culture, democratic polarization, and why this matter even for a UPSC aspirant in India. Imagine this: a glamorous annual press dinner in Washington. Journalist, politician, the president, top administration officials, and then a gunman enters and opens fire. Security response: the suspect is arrested. Disaster is narrowly avoided. But here is the editorial's key point. This was not just about one attack or one attacker. This was part of a pattern. Repeated attacks targeting political figures, assassination attempts, raising hostility, and a democracy showing signs of stress. The editorial asks, why is political disagreement in the US increasingly taking violent forms? And its answer is sharp: because polarization now combines with unrestricted gun access. The combination is dangerous. Okay, let us understand a core concept here: political polarization. Disagreement is normal in democracy. In fact, the democracy thrives on disagreement. But polarization is different. It is when society divides into rigid camps: us versus them, patriot versus traitor, friends versus enemy. Okay, this is polarization, extreme end. And one politics becomes moral welfare, violence begins to appear justified. See, and once politics becomes moral warfare, violence becomes to appear justified. This is what the editorial wants. Disagreements becomes hostility. Hostility becomes dehumanization, and dehumanization can become violence. Okay, and this is not just an American issue. This is a lesson for every democracy, because when politics stops seeing opponents as a rival and starts seeing them as enemies, democracy weakens. Now, now let's come to the second big idea. Why does polarization in America often becomes deadly? Because of gun proliferation. Proliferation means has been spread everywhere. Okay, and this is where the editorial focuses on something uniquely American: the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. See, in America there is Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms. Arms means weapons. For many Americans, gun ownership is not merely law; it is identity, it is freedom, it is culture for them. Okay, see, owning a gun for many Americans is an identity, is a freedom, and is a culture for them, according to them. But the editorial argues, when political anger meets easy access to weapons, ordinary conflict can turn lethal. And then comes another actor, the National Rifle Association, the NRA, a powerful lobbying group often seen influencing gun policy. Okay, this brings a very important UPSC concept: pressure groups and lobbying. When organized interest becomes stronger than public safety reforms, governance suffers. Okay, see, when organized interests become stronger than public safety reforms, governance suffer. And this is exactly what the editorial inset. There is an even deeper concept hidden here. Political thinker Max Weber said, the state should hold the legitimate monopoly over violence, meaning the use of force must remain under lawful state authorities. But what happens when society normalizes heavily harmed private citizens and political violence? That monopoly weakens, rule of law weakens, democracy becomes fragile. That is why this editorial is not merely about gun control, it is about democratic stability. And here comes the classic constitutional debate, freedom versus security. See, freedom versus security is a classic constitutional debate. Should individual liberty to own firearms remain absolute, or should public safety demand regulation? This is the central tension. See, gun rights supporters say freedom must be protected. The editorial argues freedom without responsibility can threaten collective security, and that is why it supports what it calls common sense gun reforms, not abolishing rights but regulating risk. Okay, now if you are preparing for UPSC, this editorial connects with multiple themes. Okay, what are all of them? GS2, GS3 and GS4. See, in GS2 it connects to challenges to democracy. In GS3 it connects to internal security and radicalization, and in GS4 it connects to ethics, individual liberty versus common good, and even international relations. Okay, because democratic instability in major power affects global politics. And notice this editorial is also a reminder for India. Strong institutions matters, modernization matters, political disagreement must remain democratic, because once violence enters politics, democracy itself becomes insecure. Okay, so what is the editorial central message? Okay, it's very simple. America's problem is not only polarization and not only guns, it is the combination of both. Political hatred armed with easy access to weapon. This is what creates a culture of violence. Okay, and that is what the editorial warns against, because when bullets being replacing debates, it is not just public safety at risk, it is democracy itself at risk. Okay, if you would have found this editorial breakdown useful, then let me know in the comment section. If you have any doubt or if you want to say something, let me know in the comment section. Thank you.